So,
Floden. We have a cousin, I believe, of Floden who has agreed to help us transport the sword on his cart. Was it
Fez? I believe his name was.
Fez?
It was. What's your valet called? I can't remember, Vincent.
Passepartout.
Passepartout's cousin.
That's right. And so we put the sword on the cart and we headed off because we knew people would want to steal it and in the process probably kill us too. And so we made it about halfway or a ways towards home when we stopped at the village, despite me seeing some pretty unpleasant visions of the place burning and people running around. We were like, oh, I'm sure it's fine. And so we take him up in a mill.
Sorry, Tyler, can I stop you there? These visions, what did you see them in, like some kind of like fever dream or a premonition or something?
It was sort of a premonition. I had gotten it off of, I want to believe I'd gotten it off of a searching roll type thing. But yeah, it was like it was overlaid over the place that was going on. I could see kind of it in two sort of above and below vision. And we had decided to stay anyway because Fez was like, well, we can die out there or we can come in here and hopefully not die. And so it was like, okay, we'll stay here. So we went to a mill, I think it was, and kind of fortified it up, wrapped the wagons around it. And during the course of the night, I believe it might have even been my watch, we see Rat Tail get up out of the wagon, kind of go walking over towards a part of the mill, talking to himself, motioning, and I'm like, hey, doesn't hear me. I run to get help, and as we come back, we see Rat Tail do the sort of walk downstairs, but there's no stairs. He just disappears into the ground and is gone.
And then you went to investigate that, I believe, and found a kind of a big stone portal, effectively, like a portal door, which you traced. I think Vincent, you managed to. Was it Vincent that opened it?
I don't think so. I think she woke up like wondering where everybody was and was like looking around.
It was the priest. That was it. That opened it with his priestly magic, and it kind of backwards, and just as you were going down to look for Rat's Tail, Flo, and Father Valgar and Tyburn, we closed for the evening. Okay, so we'll pick up there. Rat's Tail, you wake up and you're very, very cold. And you can hear some shouting going on outside. What do you do?
Well, I mean, Rat's Tail, he's used to kind of like waking up, not knowing where the hell he is or anything, So he kind of like has that thing where he kind of feels around, like to try and get his bearings, kind of where he is. And then I hear the shouting. The first thing my hand's gonna kind of reach out to my longsword and sort of grab that, and I'm gonna sort of head towards the shouting to see what the problem is.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you get up, grab your longsword. This mother of all hangovers starts to hit you because you haven't drunk in a good 8 hours probably, and it takes a little while for you to start sobering up. But once it comes, oh my gosh, it comes. And as you sort of blearily make your way out of the little the fort you've made inside of this old windmill. You get outside and you can hear that it's Tyburn and Flo shouting. Tyburn is shouting, "Rat's Tail, what are you doing?" What do you do, Paul?
So I'll kind of confused, kind of what's going on here, and I'll be like, "What's happening? I'm over here. I'm over here. I've got a headache, but apart from that, I'm perfectly fine."
What are you? Where are you going?
I'm not going anywhere. So it's not even morning.
Oh my god! He just disappeared. He just walked into the ground. How the? And they start looking forward at the ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna like maybe go up and like kind of sort of slap sort of Flo on the back and be like, "What are you doing? I'm right here."
And your hand goes right through.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, and I've been like staring at my hand, like, "Whoa!" You know, I must still be drunk. You know.
And Flo bends down at the ground in front of you and says, "There's something here. Look, there's old runes or something." And Father Volgar smashes his what sort of tool? What sort of holy symbol did he have again? I can't remember. He was the god of knowledge, wasn't he? Oh, so he had his he had his book which he wrote, and he starts writing in it. Right. This writing appear on the page as he kind of connects to. We decided he had a neural network of basically like a web of other priests around the world that he could gather knowledge from, which is a lovely idea. So it's a shame he's not here this week. And he starts tracing some symbols on the floor, and the floor starts glowing and moves back. And Tyburn and Flo and the priest go down into this portal that's opened up before you.
Yeah, and I follow them, just like kind of, you know, shouting at them and kind of waving, trying to wave at them and get their attention.
Okay, Tyburn and Flo, what are you doing? You've just walked down into the temple.
What do we see?
Okay, so I say temple. It's not a temple. I'm just used to saying temple in D&D. Okay, so you go down, and this is a definitely constructed place. It's not like a cavern like the last place or anything like that. There are walls, and the architecture down here is quite fine for a place which is, you know, basically some sort of underground hideout or whatever it is that you have here. You'd expect it to be kind of like bare bones, like just enough to keep it going. But it looks like you know, there's lots of ornamentation on the walls. The actual masonry work in the walls itself is very fine. There are some like mouldering paintings on the wall and stuff like that. And by paintings, I mean sort of like oil paintings and that sort of thing. So that's what you see. There are lots of you can't see very far down there. You've got torches, don't you?
Yeah, I think I grabbed the torch.
I think I left Passport 2 sleeping to guard the stuff, right? So I have half my
Passport 2 and Fez are guarding the stuff, yeah.
Right. And I think actually we had even said, because we knew whoever was playing the priest was not supposed to be here the next session, that he was supposed to be staying and watching the stuff as well.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll say he comes with you because I haven't.
Okay, that's cool. That's perfectly cool. But I know I had grabbed a torch when we saw the thing going down there. I remember.
Yes, you grabbed it from your fire, didn't you? That's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, you can only see a little way down there, but it kind of looks like you've walked into a palace or something like that. It's a strange place. I mean, anything strange to find underground in an abandoned village, but it's especially strange because it's so fine. And so apparently much older than everything else that's here.
Flo, this doesn't look like it should be here at all.
She's just like, looks like treasure to me, and like walks up to one of the paintings to evaluate it.
Okay, do you want to make a roll on that and see if you can find out how much it's worth, you think?
Okay. And what do I just okay, I'll just roll 2d6 and we'll figure it out.
I would say that is know something, which is roll plus intelligence.
Okay. So she gets a 10 plus 0. So 10.
A 10. Okay, cool. I will answer any questions that you have about the subject within reason. So ask me.
Okay, what's the painting about? What does it look like?
Okay. It is a painting of a woman in great finery.
Uh-huh.
It's very fine work. It appears to be maybe a coronation, something like that. She's holding a sphere and a scepter, except the sphere you can see is a skull which has been covered in gold and gems.
Does it look valuable?
Well, the painting itself,
yes.
yeah. It does look valuable. Yeah, it's very fine work. It's kind of like it's in a bad state, and well, you thought it was in a bad state, but then you look a little bit closer, and then suddenly it looks incredibly fresh. And as you kind of reach forward to touch it, the paint's wet. Like the oil is still, it hasn't dried yet.
Huh. And one more question: is there anything like on the frame or something that indicates who this, like, is it titled? Does it have the name of a person? Is it signed?
Yeah, let's find a name. Okay, it is Talon. Talon. It's signed by. And that rings a bell with you.
Okay.
Like you've heard of that artist, and I'm guessing you're not like a big art person.
No.
No. Okay.
I mean, she's young, but she's she likes to think of herself as worldly, and she's heard things and tall tales of people's rich houses and stuff like that. So.
Okay, so yeah, so this guy's not like a Da Vinci, but he's maybe like a Caravaggio. So like he's someone you might have heard of, and it's going to be worth a lot of money. Yeah, this is a find in and of itself.
Considering that I'm, my background, I, came from a well-to-do family, and probably very low end of nobility before my parents ran away. Can I roll a know something about perhaps if I recognize who this queen or recognize what this coronation is supposed to be?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, roll.
All right. 6, 9.
9. Okay, so I will tell you something useful about the subject. Okay. Yeah, you have seen like a copy of this painting. Like people, because there's no photographs or anything like that, people would occasionally just copy paintings. Like without like them intended to be forgeries or whatever, they're just sort of like versions that you have. So you've seen like a shitty kind of over the fireplace version of this before. And you remember your parents telling you that was Queen Melandra, who was the first queen of humanity after the giants fell.
This is, if this is an original, this is quite old. That's the first queen.
Wow. And how big is this painting? It's like life size or smaller?
No, it's big, but it's not like one of those gigantic ones that you see in galleries. It's probably, I don't know, like 3 feet across, maybe like 4 by 3.
Gotcha. But there's no way this is the original. I mean, the original isn't going to be in a basement underneath the mill, and I've seen copies of it. And while this is going on, I'm also kind of looking around to see if I see Rat Tail down here.
Yeah. You don't. And also, you don't see the priest anymore.
Flo, the priest is gone.
Do we see any, like, Flo is just, she's just in the process of like lifting the painting at this point.
Yeah.
Does it come off the wall or?
It does.
Okay, so she's holding this huge painting, and then she's like, well, I'm sure there's somewhere around. I'm gonna bring this back to camp, and then we can go looking for them. And she makes towards the exit.
Just set it at the top and hurry back. And I'm kind of, Rat Tail, are you down here?
And Flo, as you're going up, Rat's tail is coming down.
Oh no. Do we bump into each other?
I don't know, Rat's tail. How still inebriated are you?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of, I've sort of got my wine skin and sort of realised it's fucking empty. You know, I'm like, oh, chucked it over my shoulder. Oh, swearing off that stuff for a while. Yeah, and I'll be coming down the stairs. See Flo with this kind of painting.
Roll me a luck to
Yeah.
see if you budge into each other.
Oh,
Flo,
okay.
if you could...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Ooh, 8. So I rolled a 9.
That's a 9. Okay. So Flo is coming towards you. You are, and just at that point, you stumble. You misjudge your step. Now, you reckon you can fall to the side and kind of like tumble down the stairs, which is probably going to hurt. Or you can just go onto this painting. You reckon Flo will be able to hold you, and you won't get hurt.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, what is art for if not for breaking your fall? So yeah, I'm gonna stumble like straight down these stairs, head first into the painting.
Okay, cool. Flo, you're walking up these stairs, and suddenly an arm just punches through the painting. What do you do?
I'm like, God damn it, Rat's Tail. This was supposed to be something fancy or expensive. And then she tries to dislodge it from his arm and, you know, kind of retreat back down the stairway and inspect the damage.
Cool. Okay. As you're attempting to dislodge it, and Rat's Tail, I assume you're pulling your arm out. Oh, he's talking. Okay, so he's pulling his arm out. You're trying to pull it off, and it starts reforming, and it kind of catches around his hand. And your hand is now. So Rat's Tail, you put your arm through, and as you're pulling your hand out, it starts reforming around it because it like tore everywhere. It starts reforming around it, and now your hand is just kind of like stuck entirely in it, like it's formed around it tight.
Oh, I'm gonna pull out kind of my hunting knife and start like cutting the canvas to like get my hand through it. I don't care. Cool. Yeah, I have no sanctity about art at all.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, you slash it up, and Tyler, you're kind of like no at the back. And as you get your hand out, you see it's kind of like cut in. It was kind of going so tight. You've got like a, like where you've been wearing a belt or something that's too tight. It's kind of like you've got this red welt around you where it's like suddenly tried to form back around you. And as you're looking at it, the scraps of the painting that are left by Rat's Tail's onslaught, they're kind of and are back together.
Well, now that's convenient. You're here, and I'm going to probably once he's back with us, run over to kind of. It looks like I'm probably going to try and embrace Rat's Tail. This kind of, very happy to see him sort of thing. I don't know if he'll let me, but I'm, he comes.
Yeah, Rat's Tail's a hugger, definitely.
So you're here. How did you get here? You were down there, and I point the way the opposite direction.
No, I mean, Tyburn, I think you're the one that's been drinking, because I was asleep in the tent. I just heard you shouting and came down here.
No. I saw you walk down through here. I went and looked. You weren't in your role.
Yeah, I was. I was asleep. I was asleep. I woke up. I saw you. Came down here. God knows what you're doing with this painting thing. I mean, what are we, also art collectors all of a sudden? I thought we were treasure hunters, for God's sake.
Art is treasure, Rat Tail.
We're rich. It's a painting of the queen, the first queen. And then she starts to scamper up the stairs, singing some folk song about the queen. I'm rich. I'm going to be a queen. And then she's skipping up the stairway.
And as you're scampering up the stairway, singing, you fall forwards as well, kind of like Rat's Tail did. And you see White Tail. You manage to catch it. Well, actually, roll me a dex and see if you manage to catch yourself.
Okay. 7.
A 7. Okay, cool. Yeah, you managed to catch yourself. But you look down and you look to see what you slipped on, and the stairs aren't there at all. And in fact, it's just like a natural cavern going down a little bit.
Oh.
And there's no exit above you.
Guys, the stairway's missing.
And Tyler and Tyburn, and Rat's Tail, as you look around, the bricks are kind of like going backwards and disappearing, kind of like, and just going straight back into rock. And then the walls start caving in. Not caving in, but just kind of like getting smaller and smaller. And your feet, you look down and suddenly your feet are wet. And there's a stream going through here, faster and faster, and more water is coming. And it's not like a trap, like the walls aren't going in that kind of Indiana Jones sense. It's just that the water has yet to. It looks like this water will eventually carve this tunnel through, and that hasn't happened.
Oof.
What do you do?
This is bad.
Flo pulls out her dagger and she's like, "You're coming with me," and she tries to cut out the painting and fold it into her bag or something.
Okay, roll me a dex to do that before the water becomes an actual issue for you, because the water's up around your knees now.
Oh no. 6 plus 0, so 6.
That's a 6. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Right, you're cutting this out, and as you do so, you look up, having successfully cut this out, and then you look back, and the distance between you and Tyburn and Rat's Tail is now too small for you to get through. What do you do? So Tyburn and Rat's Tail, you see this as well. Like the walls have started to come in, and as you look up, you see that there's basically just solid earth in front of you, with Flo's face on the other side, looking up and looking shocked. Rat's Tail, what do you do? Remember to mark Dex, Vincent.
Oh, right.
Paul, you're muted. And that looked like it was really dramatic as well.
Sorry. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of snap out of my kind of confusion here. I'll kind of like leap forward, and so this is the walls kind of like sort of closing in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to do some like real Hercules type shit and kind of leap in there and like bang, like sort of hold back these walls with all my kind of strength.
Nice.
So Flo can kind of get past.
That sounds like some Ben Barsliff Gates kind of action.
Yeah, it sure is. So what do? So I burn 1 strength. Oh, so that puts my modifier down to 0. And go for it. Oh, I rolled a 9. So
do you get them? Do you put the modifier down after or before you roll?
It says you burn, so that means and then you roll. So I think it goes down.
Okay.
Can I help?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You have any bombs you can spend? Because then you can get some automatic help.
Right. Do we? I want to think we do. Let me look. No, I do not. I have 2 with Flo. I don't suppose though that I'm helping Flo.
Well, effectively you are. I'm going to allow it.
All right.
You're trying to get Flo through.
All right. So let's see. If I'm allowed to help, they take +1 if they, and I may make a baron to have that person to increase or decrease the modifier. I don't need to increase it though by more than that. So I think I'll just do the 1.
Cool. Okay.
And not burn.
So as Rat's Tail is pushing this wall apart, just kind of like tearing chunks out of the wall and like trying to just pull it, you reach in, grab Flo, who is still grabbing this roll of parchment that she has, and pull her through. and water starts coming through the hole now. What do you do?
We need to move away from. Are the walls still closing in that direction? And so it's like funneling us.
Is it like a tunnel, or are we trapped in like a trash compactor room?
No, it's what it is. It's a tunnel, and it looks like you're watching a river carve out an underground river carve out a tunnel underground by just like wearing the rock away, but in time lapse and in reverse.
So we're getting time loop or time mess, and the palace itself around us, is it still there, or does it look like it's disappearing and being overcome?
It's kind of disappearing and being overcome, but it's still visible down the further end of the corridor. So it's kind of like going away that way.
We need to move. Come on.
Let's run. We're gonna have to go deeper to get out, I think.
Okay, roll me some decks, everyone, in order to get away from here.
Nine.
That's 9. Okay.
6.
Oh. And Paul?
That's how I rolled an 11.
You rolled an 11. Okay, cool. So Rat's Tail, you really you kind of like speed past everyone else as this is happening. And Vincent, you look back because you've run past Tybum, and you should be able to hear like a splashing behind you as he's running behind you. But you look back and he's kind of fading almost. What do you do?
Oh no. She slaps him. Snap out of it. We gotta run. Don't fade on me now, or whatever the heck it is you're doing.
Okay, roll me a luck.
Oh my gosh. She got a 12.
She was 12. Okay, cool.
Plus 2, yeah. Oh no, a 14.
14. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so double 6s plus a 2 modifier.
Nice.
The luckiest of all lucks.
Okay, so you go to slap Tyburn to get him to kind of snap out of it, and much like before, your hand kind of starts going through, and then you feel a pull, and you are thrown forward, and you land somewhere. Okay. And you land, both of you, on the other side of a door. You don't know where you are. You're back in the palace. And yeah, you just kind of like you grab, you fall, and suddenly you're still in that palace, and you don't know where exactly you are, but you're just on the other side of the door. Rat's Tail. You're piling on through, and you start getting ahead of whatever is happening to the palace. So you're in the palace part of it again, and you can still kind of hear all the bricks kind of disappearing behind you, and the walls and the rushing of the water. And then you come to this large door, very, very solid door. What do you do?
I'm bursting straight through that door. I mean, what kind of door is it? Is it like a big ornate door, wooden door? What kind of door?
Yeah, it's a big wooden solid door. It looks like the sort of door that might have even been made to hold this water out when it was originally built. The hinges are kind of rusty.
Oh. Then yeah, I'm going straight through it. I'm gonna like you know, I'm gonna run straight at this thing and like sort of hit it with my kind of shoulder and barge the door straight open.
Okay. Flo and Tyburn, you hear this from the other side of the door. What do you do?
Oh shit! And again, looking around, we clearly had something weird happen here. I look at Flo. I'm like, Flo, what happened? And what's this at the door?
She's like, I don't know. That's probably Rat's tail. And then she runs up to the door. Does she see like a knob or something, or a?
Yeah, there's a way you can open it from this end.
Rat's tail, and she like opens the door.
And Rat's tail, you have just taken another step backwards to a barge through. So you just come running forward into this next room.
And then she like tries to close the door as soon as she.
Yeah, and you. Oh well, okay. So the water is rushing towards you. Make me a strength roll to close it in time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nope. Oh wow. So I went from double sixes to double ones. So that's yeah.
Okay. So Rat's tail, you rush into the room. Flo tries to slam the door shut, but doesn't make it in time. And the water bursts into this room. As you look around and the water starts filling up the room, you see that you appear to. Well, I don't know. What are you doing? It might be assuming too much to say that you're looking around. You might just be looking for exits.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell is going on here? Because like I was running away from them, and now they were behind me, and now they're in front of me. Like something really weird is going on here. Like there's some sorcery happening in this place. Nothing is what it seems. Up is down, and down is up. And...
But Rat's tail, you're an expert at that. Which way do we go?
We should try to close this door.
Yeah, I think yeah, Rat's tail, like, yeah, he's used to kind of like you know, being like not in control of like all of his kind of faculties and just kind of like, you know, sort of having kind of like drunkard's kind of luck kind of thing. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stand there, like, you know, he licks his finger and like kind of holds his finger up in the air, kind of like, you know, which way do we go to get out of here, you know?
Okay, so you're up to about your thighs, probably in water now, as it's kind of rushing through this place, and you look around for an exit, and it looks to all the world like you're in a courtyard, like it almost could be like a marketplace, except it's underground. There were big pillars going up, but otherwise it looks like it just kind of like a large cobbled. If it wasn't underground, would be quite kind of airy area. It's a large area. There are exit coming off of it. Tyburn, how old are you?
I'm in my like mid-20s, I'm guessing. And if it's this open, I mean, so this water there must be a lot of water coming through if it's already up to our thighs in this big open area.
Yeah. There is. Okay. So you're looking around for exits, and as you're looking around, you notice that there are some liver spots on the back of your hand, and initially you think it's just a light, kind of try and get it away, but they're definitely liver spots that you have there, and your hand is looking kind of old and crinkly. But I believe that Rat's tail was just about to try and get lucky and find the best way out of here. So what do you do, Rat's tail? Oh, you said you were just kind of like putting your finger in the air, so roll get lucky.
Ooh, 5. I fucked up.
Yeah, okay. You should definitely go under the water because you were sure you saw a sewer, like a sewer system, like a manhole cover. You reckon you can rip that open and get down through that way?
Yeah, that's the best way to go. definitely.
Okay, are you going to suggest that?
Oh, of course, yeah. I'll be like, yeah, we need to go down to get up. It makes perfect sense.
I don't think you understand how water works.
I'm like, let's ask. Wait. Before we do that, it's a great idea. But before we do that, let's ask the queen for help. And she pulls open the painting. And she, in childlike wonder, asks the queen for help.
Okay. Roll me luck.
Uh, 8 plus 2 is 10.
That's a 10. Okay. So, I'll come back to that in just a sec. Is Ratstail going to start opening the grate?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna sort of grab it with both hands and kind of rip it out the ground.
Okay, you roll me strength.
5.
Okay, cool.
Well, that's good.
So when you said you were asking the queen for help, what does that look like? What's Flo doing?
So she unrolls the painting and she's like, Queen, I guess this is your domain. This is your house. Which way should we go? And then she's kind of, she's like, I know you in there. I saw you looking at me. And we could really use your help because I don't want your inks to get smudged.
And you hear from behind you, it's not my house or my home. This is my retreat. This is the Queen's retreat. What are you doing here? And where did you get that painting?
We're trying to save it. Look at all the water.
And there is no water.
Oh.
And you are in the same courtyard, except for everything looks much nicer. There are lit torches everywhere. Do you turn around?
Yes.
Okay. So you were holding this thing up in front of you, so you kind of don't notice this until you turn around and you see the one from the painting and a bunch of guards who all have pole arms pointed at you.
And Flo's like, hi, Queenie, I rescued your painting. And she kind of like, see? And then she like hands it over.
Excellent. Okay. Paul Ratstail pulls off the manhole cover, and almost as soon as he does, like within seconds, a tentacle whips up from the manhole cover and starts pulling him down. Tyburn, what do you do?
Oh my God! I'm beginning to doubt somewhat that I have chosen the right companions for my adventuring. But despite that, I still care about them deeply, and probably haven't noticed that Flo has disappeared. But Tentacle, I must try to stop. So I am going to. I'm hoping that with a Tentacle, it hasn't seen me. So I'm going to jump forward and try and stab it.
Nice. Okay. We're talking like a giant tentacle, sort of like this thick. Like you imagine a big old giant octopus, but just the one tentacle at the minute. Okay, roll me a melee.
All right. Well, can I do a backstab?
Oh, yeah. How does that work?
I roll Dex, and it's one of my thiefy abilities. And I get to choose things depending on how I roll. And I rolled, that's a 7, that's an 8. So I get to choose one. Okay. My options would be I deal damage again, I slip immediately out of the target's reach, or I create an advantage that the next person can exploit. So I'm going to create an advantage for Rattail, giving a +1 forward, as well as doing my damage, which I don't think I've done damage. Do I roll it? How do you do that?
It's whatever your weapon gives you.
All right. So my weapon is a dagger, and my dagger does, or a knife. Oh, shit. Anybody know what a knife damage is?
I'm guessing a D6. Should we say a D6?
That's 1d4.
D4.
Roll your
All right.
mighty damage.
Yeah, I'm better with my bow, but I didn't figure shooting it was a good idea.
No. And yeah, slashing at it so that Rat's tail can get away is a good idea.
All right, so I roll 2 damage.
You roll 2 damage. Okay, cool. You rolled. Are you stabbing into it? Yeah. Okay. You kind of stab into it and cut down, and you can hear this kind of muted screech from somewhere below. And I mean, this tentacle is huge, but it whatever roars below sounds like it's even huger. But it bleeds. It bleeds this kind of this phosphorescent, goopy substance, which is also very slippery and gives Rat's Tail a chance to escape. Are you going to attempt to escape Rat's Tail?
If I escape, I mean cleave this thing in two with my longsword, then yes.
Okay, +1 to your melee roll.
Yeah. So I kind of like pull out my kind of longsword and just like, grab the end of this tentacle like with your hand and sort of pull it back and try and chop it like in half. Yeah.
Nice, go for it.
I rolled a 6. So I'm going to burn a luck.
Okay.
I'm giving you +1 already.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So that's a 7 instead then.
Okay. So on the 7, you get to do your damage. What else happens on the 7? I think you take damage as well.
Yeah, you suffer the enemy's attack as well.
Oh, you suffer the enemy's attack. Okay. So, how much damage do you do?
My longsword is a D8. So let me find my D8. Oh, I get an 8.
You get an 8. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is indeed enough to cleave through.
Full damage.
And you're feeling momentarily triumphant, but then you realise that you haven't actually cut off the bit that was holding you. So you've just kind of like got the end cleaved through, done quite a bit of damage, and then you are pulled downwards, and you are up to your waist in the sewer, with this thing still wrapped around you, and up to your waist in the sewer is up to about your mouth in the water. Go back to Flo. Flo. The Queen says, "Arrest this thief."
I'm not a thief. I'm a art historian, and I just have saved your painting. That's why I shouted your name. There was a flood. Look how wet I am.
And she looks at it. She looks at you. Where did you get this? I haven't commissioned this.
This was deep in a hole in some sort of palace, and all this water started to come in, and Rat's Tail said something like time was being messed up. So I think you were our first queen, somebody said. So like so I'm like from way far in the future, like hundreds and hundreds of years in the future.
And you're kind of Flo's not, because Flo is an innocent abroad, but the audience is kind of expecting the Queen to just go, "She's a mad woman, lock her up." But as you mentioned that you're from the far future and that time is messed up and stuff like that, you see something go across her face, like a shade go across her face, and she looks suddenly. She was already imperious and stern, but she suddenly looks just like fucking furious. And she gives the order for you to be. No. She walks up to you. "What do you know?"
She's like, "I know that you were the first and greatest of all the queens of humanity after the giants fell. And that there's this great song about you," and she starts like singing the "Oh Queenie, da, 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 da." She starts singing the song of and so in my timeline, like all the kids sing this.
Yeah. Okay. And she looks at you. Says regards. Take her to the torture chamber. She knows something.
And Flo's like, what?
And they start to drag you off. Tyburn, what are you doing? Rat's Tail is currently being dragged down into this portal.
Oh, Lord have mercy. There's... oh, crap. There is not a great deal I have likelihood of yanking him back out, but I suppose I can try. I'm certainly not going to abandon him. Yeah. So I think I think what I'm going to do is diving. I'm going to grab where that tentacle's been severed, where he cut it. And having realized the slippery properties of the blood of the tentacle, I'm going to dive under the water and begin rubbing the severed end of the tentacle around Rat's Tail's wasty area as I'm attempting to get up underneath. And as I dive down, I'm like, pull out, pull, and get up underneath him and lift out.
I think you can roll plus intelligence there.
Oh, lovely. I'm good at that, at
Yeah.
least.
Because he's using his smarts in order to help Rat's Tail escape.
And as you're like rubbing this like tentacle like all around my waist, I think like Rat's Tail just starts giggling and he's like, "I'm ticklish."
But because the water's up above your mouth now, it comes up as.
I rolled a 15.
Nice.
Boxcars.
Nice. Vincent, Flo is being dragged off towards the torture chamber, and so you're just kind of about being dragged off down this corridor, and the Queen says, "You are foolish to come here. We'll find out what you know. We'll find out what you know of the orb." And then you suddenly fall back, and no one's holding you anymore, and you're on your ass in the courtyard. And Tyburn and Rat's Tail, you're also in the courtyard, and all of you just kind of like land, and the water's gone, and whatever that creature was has gone. But the grate is still open.
Wow, this is a very strange place. It's like being on the biggest bender I've ever been on, but I'm sober. I love it down here. Let's go deeper. Let's go down that hole.
Flo, just out of habit, like, slaps Rat's Tail and says, "We don't have time. The Queen's about to come again. Come with me if you want to live."
Go with me if you want to live.
The Queen,
we don't have time. This way, and then which way does Flo? Yes, she'll be here with her guards in a second. We must hide.
Guards? As you're running off, I've probably listen. Remember when we first got here? I was seeing things that were here and not here. We are somehow caught in a magical time loop or time transverse disruption. We've got to be careful. We got to find whatever's causing this. Otherwise, we're going to get lost down here, and there won't be a going back up.
Well, remember the orb in the painting? Well, the Queen said that she was going to torture me to find out what I knew about it. So that must be it. It must be the orb in the painting.
You saw the Queen? Like the real Queen, not in the painting.
And she could pop back anytime. So we better hide somewhere else / look for the orb. Do we see the palace? Like, what do we see?
Yeah, you're back in the palace, but it's the ruined palace. But it's not the flooded ruined palace. It's just the ruined palace.
And it's a
Are
courtyard that we
there
presume is outside.
direct?
It kind of looks like it should be outside, but it's very much buried. It looks like someone has tried to create as much of a as much. They've tried to make it look as much as like outside as they could. For example, there's like now you look up and you're not, under immediate threat of death.
Oh,
You can see there's taut loyal paintings of the sky on the roof, and like in between the columns, they painted like fake views which have false perspective going out and stuff like that.
Are there exits?
Are there exits? Yes, there are. There was the exit you were being dragged towards, and two others, plus the off to either side. So it's kind of like 4 exits off of this room, 1 on each side, and the grate as well.
And I say, I was being dragged towards there. They were going to torture me, but I think that must be where the orb is. And she points to that direction.
That makes sense, Flo. And this, I'm beginning to think we're inside of a facsimile. This is a construct that is somehow trapping the time of then. Because obviously that's not the real sky, but someone made an attempt to make a real sky.
And as he's explaining all of this and theorizing, Flo is like grabbed him by the hand and is like dragging them towards that direction.
So what you're saying is, it's almost like we're inside that painting that we nicked.
Perhaps so.
It does seem a little like that.
Oh, this is fun, isn't it? I've never been inside a painting before. Do they have treasure inside paintings? Is it going to be like real treasure or just like painted treasure?
I imagine it's painted treasure, but maybe we could take painted treasure out.
Okay,
Yeah.
So you're heading off down that corridor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna go and steal this orb. Seems like that's the biggest treasure in this place.
Okay. So you are heading off down that corridor, and as you do so, you can see like little flashes as you're heading down of the guards from earlier dragging Flo down the corridor. But Flo, you're still there, and you can see little bits of that, and you can hear the Queen say, "Do you know where the orb comes from? Do you know what it does? Do you know how much work I've put in installing it here, to building this retreat?" And then it fades. Who currently has the lowest luck?
Not me.
I do. I have 11. Yeah.
That kind of makes sense. And then it starts crumbling again, but not like before when it looked like the you were going backwards. Now it looks like you're going massively forward, and suddenly there's like spider webs forming really, really quickly and kind of just coming out of nowhere, like time-lapse photography, and the walls start to shift, and they start to crack and crumble, and it's as if you're being thrown thousands, maybe even millions of years into the future, and then the ground collapses below Rat's tail, and you feel it go. What do you do?
I'm gonna try and grab onto the edge and sort of pull myself up.
Cool. Okay. Make me a dex to do it in quick enough time.
Oh no! I rolled snake eyes.
Okay. And yeah, you try and grasp up for it as you fall, and your fingers just kind of like scrape against the edge of the ground. And actually, it looks like you're going to grab it, but then it just crumbles to dust as you grab it, and you fall, and you land with a heavy. Take D6 damage.
Oh, that's a 2. Nothing but a scratch. It just winds me a bit. Oh, on my back.
How many hit points does Retstail have?
He has 10, so he's gone down to 8.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, yeah, you fall probably 20, 30 feet, but you manage to roll it just at the bottom. So you kind of, you know how you can, when you're drunk, you can kind of take injuries that you wouldn't otherwise be able to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
kind of hits the ground and just kind of like bounces back to his feet, like somehow, like just winded. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of ragdoll as you hit the floor, and it's enough that no one part of you hits it hard enough, and you guys are just kind of standing shocked at the top when you hear a little kind of like "I'm all right" from down below.
Yeah.
What do you do?
How
What do I?
far down is he?
Do you have a torch with you?
I imagine it got wet and put out, so no.
No, I don't have.
But you do still have that phosphorescent blood on you, don't you?
That's true. All around his
maybe-
waist.
Yeah.
And there's no reason that you wouldn't have. So you've still got your torch, Tyburn?
I do. It's just probably gone out from the water.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. But yeah, you do have that phosphorescent gear on you, so you can kind of see dimly in this room, and the light from the blood is glinting off what looks like gold in here. Gold, and as you get a little bit closer, marble. There's also gold and marble in here. What do you do?
I'm going to shout up to everyone. I've found the mother lode. It's a golden treasure chamber of joy and riches. Come down.
Flo does this like complete 180 pivot, and she's like, gold. And she reaches into her magical bag of adventuring gear, her purse of holding, and produces yet another rope, and she marks off another adventuring gear.
Nice.
Did the tentacle that we cut off remain?
Bowl luck.
All right. It did not. I got a 4, 5.
You got a 5. Okay, cool. You go back to look for it because you do have the idea which you just had, which is that you could use that as a torch. And as you're going forward, you kind of you suddenly feel something. You suddenly feel very tired, and like you're kind of like walking through soup almost. What do you do?
Good Lord. And I'm not seeing a glow back that direction, I'm guessing. So I'm in the dark.
You are in the dark, and like there. Previously, you could see little bits and pieces, but right now, like it's darker than even you would have expected. Like you're, but it's kind of like a weird milky darkness.
There's no way that torch is there. And I guess I'll turn around in my achy way and kind of start heading back. It's getting very dark in here.
And
Flo, there is an old man coming down the corridor towards you.
so as I'm running towards the hole, I run past the old man and I hand him the rope and I say, "Here, hold this." And then she jumps into the hole, rappelling down. She's like, "Hiya, here, hold this."
Okay, Tyler. Flo hands a rope to Tyburn. And yeah, jumps downwards. Tyburn, roll me a dex to get down there without pulling Flo, roll me a dex to get down there without pulling Tyburn with you. Old decrepit now Tyburn.
Uh-oh. Okay, let's Yeah, 5.
That's 5. Okay.
Oh, but I filled up my dex bubbles now. Whatever that means.
Means your dex goes up 1.
Next level, right?
No, I think it's an
It goes
immediate.
up 1 now.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right
It's
from
the
back now.
stat, not the modifier. So you only get extra modifiers if the stat changes enough for that to happen.
Oh, I
But
see.
Tyburn, is pulled bodily down into this pit,
Ah!
taking d6 damage.
Yikes.
I think possibly this might be the end of
Ouch.
Tyburn.
I rolled 1 and I have 9 hit points, so
Okay, cool.
I'm down to 8.
Okay, I think with a roll that light, Rat's Tail probably catches you. But it's still, you're kind of old and frail now, so you kind of still land and are in a lot of pain.
I look at Rat Tail and, oh, my hero, and I'll hug him.
Rat's Tail, an old man has just fallen out of the ceiling. And is,
Yeah, but I kind of I sort of catch this man and it literally falls out of nowhere. Catch him.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
sort of
raining Ben, hallelujah.
yeah. Peer into his face, and I'll be like, Tyburn, is that you, old friend?
Of course it's me. What do you mean? Of course it's me, Rat Tail. And I imagine I'm looking at my arms at this point and seeing their, what the hell has happened to me?
you are fully taken with decrepitude at this point. What are you doing now you're down there?
Well, I mean, this gold that's all kind of over the walls. Like, can we sort of chip some of it off? Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm assuming you put Tyburn down after you kind of consider what's happened to him, but then kind of
Yeah,
go.
I can ask him. I'll say to him, like, Tyburn, can you, like, are you well enough to walk? Do you need a bit of support?
I think I can walk, but I'm something. We've got to get out of here. Find this orb, or I'm going to die.
You won't die. You won't die, old pal. Not with Rat's Tail by your side. I'll protect you from whatever comes your way.
Thank you, Rat's Tail. You're a good lad.
Okay, yeah. So you start chipping away at this area, at the walls, and it's kind of like it's just bits of like gold filigree and stuff that are in the walls, like gold tiles, like bits on there. Where they should have grout, they just kind of like overlaid it with gold, basically. So yeah, you can chip away a decent amount of gold. If you got a sack or something to keep this in.
Well, I've got big pockets in my robes, my sheepskin robes I'm wearing.
Cool. Okay, yeah. So you're looking around, and this appears to be some sort of shrine, and it's what were the two gods that we had so far? There was the god of like law and order and stuff like that, wasn't there? And there was also the god of knowledge, wasn't there? The god of forbidden knowledge.
Forgotten knowledge, yeah.
Forgotten knowledge, and it is a shrine to the god of forgotten knowledge, but it's a version that you haven't seen before. And it's as you're looking at kind of some of these gold hinted frescoes, it's a much more sinister looking version, where previously he is usually kind of portrayed as an old man reading from a book. Here he's portrayed summoning demons and making sacrifices and using the sacrificial dagger to write in his victim's blood in the books that he's reading from.
Does this still have the look of the time has passed? Does it all have that decrepit or the kind of crumbly look to it, or have we shifted back to a different time?
It looks like you shifted back to, as far as you can tell, the present, which is where it's ruined but not absolutely destroyed.
Gotcha.
Which actually also means that the roof has reformed above you.
Ah,
So this statue, it's like a stone statue,
It's sorry, this is a fresco.
a fresco. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a kind of like a like the 12 Stations of the Cross that you get around churches. It's like there's like a fresco telling the story of how the god got his knowledge.
And you said, are there exits?
Yes, there are. There is one exit coming off of here.
And besides the gold flakes on the wall, are there like pieces of gold around or like other treasures about?
There's some golden goblets and stuff like that. There's lots of old books in here, which are probably all destroyed and mouldering at this point. But the goblets and and actually, as you look, there is the sacrificial dagger, similar to what the god is pictured using in the frescoes.
Flo runs and picks up the dagger.
Cool. Okay. Nice. Okay. Right. So yeah, you're there. You're chipping away. You're getting some treasure. We will take a 5 minute. 5 minutes. Okay. 5 minute bio break, and then rejoin here to find out what's down that other exit. I guess. See you in 5, everybody.
Paul, Patrick got me a Funko Prince Harry.
Oh wow. Well, yeah, that's probably got a lot more charisma than the real version.
I'm a massive Anglophile, and so when he saw that, he thought of me.
Well, do you want to swap places? You can come and live over here if you want, and I'll come and live wherever it is you live. I'll gladly get out.
I'm not sure anybody should trade places with an American at this moment. I don't know. I mean, y'all have some issues going on, but we've kind of. It's kind of like we've all pissed the bed in the English-speaking world, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who's got it worse at the moment. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, one of our biggest assholes has also been implicated in the Mueller inquiry because, oh shit, what's he even called? The leader of UKIP.
Nigel Farage. Yeah.
Nigel Farage, who all good English-thinking people hate, has been implicated as well. So never know. Maybe the FBI will come get him as well.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. Although the man is literally impervious to any kind of harm at all.
He does seem to be.
Yeah. He walked away from a plane crash, didn't he? That guy.
Did he?
Yeah. Did you not know? Yeah, about 6-7 years ago, his light aircraft literally crashed head first. The pilot died, and he literally just got up out of the wreckage and walked away like without scratching him.
I'm not saying he sold his soul to the devil, but it certainly seems that way, doesn't it? Yeah. I don't imagine Nigel Farage's soul is worth that much, though.
No.
Okay, so you're in this shrine to the god of knowledge, although it seems like a darker version of it. So instead of the god of forgotten knowledge, it seems like the god of forbidden knowledge. You've tripped off.
Flo's got the sacrificial dagger, and she's like, just kidding, guys.
Are you like faking a sacrifice or something?
Yeah, she's like,
So like, yeah, before we leave, like, because it seems that all these kind of frescoes and stuff on the wall, they're kind of like telling a story. Like can we kind of study this and see if it will give us any insight into like how we might kind of get this orb, or how we might safely get out of the dungeon or something?
Yeah, sure, good idea. Roll me a know something.
Okay, sure. That is wisdom, is that?
That is intelligence, I think.
Intelligence, yeah.
Okay. Ooh, I rolled a 5.
You rolled a 5. Okay, cool. So you're studying these frescoes, and you do see that the towards the end of the story, it is that the god himself is slain by the queen. And it's his head that she takes, and full-on predator skins and everything, and coats in gold. So it is the god's skull, the god of forgotten and forbidden knowledge, that she's holding. But as you're investigating this, the fresco starts to crumble and just kind of falls. And the rest of the building starts. It's that hyper aging again. It's starting to collapse all around you. What do you do?
Uh-oh.
There's kind of like there's vines and roots kind of like bursting through the walls at hyper speeds, and because they're going so fast. Have you ever seen a climbing plant kind of like swing around when it's seen in like super fast motion and grab on stuff? It kind of looks like that. So they kind of remind you of the tentacles as these roots and vines are kind of making their way in this hyper fast style.
Is the hole in the ceiling coming back, or?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
No, we need to go deeper. We need to get inside this temple and find this orb. We can't back out now.
Well, do we think it's further down here, or do we think it's in the palace where the queen was taking Flo?
Only one way to find out, I think.
All right. But we better move. It looks like, well, the ceiling's going to collapse on us.
Okay, and the ceiling does start falling in chunks.
I think
part of the wall starts caving in, and like earth piling down as part of it. And then you see daylight coming free from this hole where it's kind of started piling in. And everything kind of stops. And wherever or whenever you've ended up, it appears to be that it's kind of stopped there for the moment. And then you hear this kind of guttural squawking. So it kind of sounds like a bird, but like if it had like a really fleshy call, like a.
Where's it coming from? This squawking.
It's coming from the hole that's just been formed to apparently outside.
Up above us. Is that you're saying that the hole is above the hole that we fell through? Like this?
No, this is like in the side. This is in the side of the wall, so it's kind of like there's a slope that's kind of coming down into the.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rush over and can I see out of this hole? Is it large enough that you say it's like, can we get up to it to look out?
It's probably like 6 feet across. Okay, yeah, you rush up to it. And you look up, and the terrain around you previously was it was kind of like a tundra, wasn't it? And like a wintry forest at best. And as you're climbing up here, there's just this heat hits you, and at first you think something on fire up there, but it's kind of like a humid heat. And you look up, and there's just this sun beating down, and these huge trees, these huge viney trees. And it just looks like you're in a jungle somehow. And that squawking, guttural noise is getting closer.
This can't be real. Global warming is a hoax.
Flo, Ratstail, what are you doing?
I mean, this is the first time that Ratstail's like ever felt like the sun like warm on his face, and he doesn't like it. Like something's wrong about this. Something is really wrong about this, and he's going to try and get everyone to get into cover because something's obviously coming down through this hole. So we need to take like defensive kind of positions here.
Okay. Yeah, I will count that as a help roll. If you've got any bonds, I think you have bonds with Flo at least, don't you?
Yes.
To get one automatically.
Yeah.
So you can have +1 to whatever roll you do next, Flo and Tyburn. Are you getting into defensive positions as he suggests?
Yeah. If Rattail's saying something that this is dangerous, I'm backing away from the hole and probably trying to find like an alcove or a shadow, and I'm going to try and be all hidden in the shadows.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because there's light coming down now. The temple that you're in is quite lit up, but there are also because of that the shadows are kind of much darker where they are. So yeah, you managed to get in behind the ruins of one of the pillars and kind of fade into darkness. Flo, what are you doing?
She does the same thing. So she hides in the shadows and pulls out her crossbow.
Okie dokie. And where is Ratstail hiding? Or is Ratstail hiding?
No, of course not. I'm not hiding. I draw the attention.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm the bait. So yeah, draw my sword. And get ready.
Okay, and trotting their way down towards you are what looks like these huge saber-toothed hairy pigs with wings. Because I rolled some random shit.
So can you repeat that again? Because
Yeah.
I find it hard to get a mental image of this again.
Okay, so they are huge, hairy, saber-toothed pigs with wings. Like
Okay.
these
Yeah,
leathery kind of pterodactyl-looking wings.
Cool.
Because you've been flung into the far future, and evolution has done some weird ass shit.
How many of these things are coming down through?
There are 3 of them,
Three of them.
and they look fierce, even if they sound comical. And they're still big ass pigs. Pigs are scary in and of themselves.
I'm waiting for them to pass by, since I'm all in Heidi mode, and if you know, I have a feeling if we fought before, it's not unusual for Flo and I to hide while Ragtail draws attention, and then hop out and do our deadly best. So. Yeah,
my understanding of your move is that you don't have to roll to hide, do you? You're just invisible until
you had to spend cunning.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so we spent a cunning point, but we are unnoticed until we act or until somebody is right on top of us.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but these things are coming down and are looking. Ratstail has no attention at the moment. So, Ratstail, what do you do? Paul, you muted.
Oh, sorry. I wait. I wait until they've come down and they've passed where Flo and Tyburn are. So Flo and Tyburn can launch like the perfect ambush, and then just when they're in the right space, I just like raise my sword above my head and let out a blood-curdling scream and charge right into them, screaming, "No guts, no glory!"
Okay, so you're a little way off from where they are currently. You're like on the other side of the temple?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right. Okay, so they are stalking towards you, and they start charging, and they start flapping those bat wings, and they take off. And start literally flying towards you at great speed. So I believe that Flo and Tyburn were going to let their crossbows fly.
Well, I was hoping to get the backstab off. So if they're going to start jumping, I don't think I'll be able to do that. So I will probably have to shoot.
Yeah. Before anything goes down, I've actually got a move for that, which is called "No Guts, No Glory."
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. That's all right. Which is one of my fighting moves, which is when I charge into battle against overwhelming odds. I think that counts here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Burn 1 wisdom, which I think is lovely. And then roll wisdom. So I'm going to roll. Ooh, I rolled a 6. I'm going to burn a luck and put that up to 7.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can choose 2. Okay, I'm going to choose the opposition is interested only in me until I'm incapacitated or until a greater threat presents itself. And all allies witness to my courage or foolhardiness take +1 forward.
Nice. Oh. Cool.
So yeah, I just run in like completely like not worrying about my own sort of personal well-being, like winging my sword like over my head.
Yeah.
Like these things, like they kind of squawk at me, and I just squawk back at them like twice as loud.
Excellent. Right. So I think with that roll included, Tyburn actually could maybe catch up with one of them if he wants to get that close.
Yeah, I think I do want to try and get off my backstab if I can. Then.
Okay, so you get it just as it's passing, I guess.
Yeah, just as it's passing and it's launched up, I'm going to jump forward and in true Frodo fashion try and stab up into its belly.
Nice.
So rolling my backstab.
Yeah, and Vincent, if you want to roll your shoot.
Yep. Ooh, great.
I got a 10.
Nice.
Actually, I got an 11 because you're +1. And I'm going to take deal my damage twice and slip immediately out of the target reach.
Okie dokie. So deal your damage twice. What does that do?
And second time. Ooh, that's not too bad. 9 points of damage.
Okay. Describe what happens. You get
I think I cut it, as I'm jumping up into its belly, I'll catch it just below its sternum, and I'm going to cut it straight back down towards the crotch. Hopefully spilling its guts all over it.
I imagine also all over you. It smells of fish. Like
Oh.
this thing's been eating fish recently. You think it's that real like briny fermented fish smell.
Wow.
Yay.
But hey, XP. And Vincent, what did Flo get?
Flo got, with all the forwards, she got a 12 with her
Nice.
backstab. It looks like she had one arrow, but she actually put in 2 arrows when she loaded it. So the arrows go off, hitting 1 for 1 and 1 for 2. And she creates an advantage, which anybody can exploit for +1 forward next time. And I guess the advantage is it, I don't know, hits a wing and one of them falls and maybe stumbles or something.
Yeah, I think indeed. Yeah, the one that you hit for 2, you get it right through one of its wings, and it just kind of loses momentum and tumbles to the floor, which allows Rat's Tail to
like pounce on it.
Yeah,
like literally jump on top of it, and like pin it to the ground whilst trying to stick my longsword straight through its face.
Nice. Roll me a melee.
Ooh, I rolled a 9, but I can spend my metal.
Well, you get a +1
I
for
got
the
+1
for the advantage from the.
Oh, cool. So that puts that up to a 10.
Nice. Okie dokie. So you roll your damage. What do you do?
So yeah, I plunged like my my longsword kind of like right into its neck and do 7 damage.
Nice. Okay. So it roars at you as you land on top of it, and as you can see, as it opens its mouth wide, it's got 3 tongues, all of which have barbs on. They're just kind of like popping about everywhere. But you just kind of go, ugh, and
yeah, just like ugly motherfucker, aren't you? And like just straight into its mouth. Yeah.
Nice. Which goes into the ground below, and then you pull it out with some sparks. Okay, there is 1 left, and I think it's gonna see Flo. No, it's not. No, it's gonna go for you. Yeah, because you had your guts and glory. So it as you pounce on its friend or its packmate, slam your sword into it, and then you feel another one, or you hear another one towards you, and you feel its hot breath on your back just in time to.
Yeah, my sword kind of pull the sword out, and it's kind of all the blood sort of sprays like all over me. And at the last minute, I'm going to basically use my kind of my dirty, stinky sheepskin robes that I'm wearing, almost like a matador's kind of cape, and pull it up, and then as this thing goes by, like get out of the way and try and jump on its back as it goes past.
That is going to be a dex roll, I think.
Yeah. Whew. I rolled a 7.
You rolled a 7, okay.
Yep.
So you get out of the way, but you don't end up riding it quite as well as you hoped. You just kind of like got one of its wings by the kind of the stump that goes into the body, and it's starting to flap and take off. So you're kind of like hanging from it as it's taking off into the air. Tyler, what does Tywin do?
Having dispatched that one and seeing Rat Tail being carried up into the air, I'm going to quickly as possible put my dagger, my knife away, and pull out my short bow. And I'm going to start putting a bead on that thing and hopefully shoot it.
Nice, go for it.
Alrighty.
If you miss, you're totally going to shoot Batstell in the arse.
Well, I got a 7.
Okay. So what do you get on a 7? That means you have to take the best shot you can get, doesn't it? Or lose ammo.
Yeah. Inflict damage after choosing one below. So mark off ammo, bad angle, or attract unwanted attention. I think I'm gonna mark ammo for this, I guess.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, you're firing off a few shots, but it's kind of like spinning through the air, barrel rolling through the air because Batstell is trying to like climb up onto it, so it's not exactly it's not flying gracefully. What damage do you do?
Yes, let me do my damage. Ugh, 1.
Okay. So it goes into one of its hind legs and kind of just like slices across it, but doesn't stick in.
Yeah, and I think I'll shout out down to Tyburn. I was like, "Watch where you're shooting that goddamn thing. That missed me by an inch."
I'm sorry, my hands are shaking a little.
Flay, what are you doing?
So is one still in the air?
Yes, with Rat's tail on it currently.
She's like
trying to like.
Don't worry, Rat's tail, and I got you. And she pulls out her crossbow, steadies it on the shoulder of the old man, and you notice that it's actually not loaded with an arrow; it's loaded with the sacrificial dagger, and she shoots it off. So I guess that's a shooter throw.
Yep.
Oh, that's terrible. 6.
I will help if I can.
Yeah, it sounds like you're helping by kind of steadying the shot.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any bonds?
We do. So I'll do a help by as Flo's firing. I'll say, no, it's going to be heavier than a normal bolt, and kind of straighten up a little to put myself at a better angle for it to fire.
Oh no!
And so I'll burn a bond and give you +2.
Okay, so we're up to 8. Great. So I need to pick one. Let's see. So I inflict damage after. Let's see. Yeah, I get unwanted attention.
Okay. Cool.
So.
You shoot the sacrificial dagger up, and it's kind of, because it's a sacrificial dagger, it's not meant for fighting, so there's no like hilt on or anything like this. Hilt? Guard? There's no guard on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it's kind of like a gold stake almost, except kind of goes to a blade point at the end. So it flies surprisingly well as an arrow. What was your damage?
I don't know. What should I roll? 6? 4?
I'm going to say D8 for the sacrificial dagger.
D8. Okay, here we go. Ta-da! 3.
3. Okay. So it shoots upwards and goes straight into this thing's side, which sends it tumbling forward, tumbling down to the ground. Blood kind of flipping from it as it kind of barrel rolls towards the ground. What are you doing, Batstell?
Trying to land as gracefully as humanly possible.
Okay, roll me a dex.
As drunkenly possible.
I rolled an 8.
Rolled an 8. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. So you can land on. You can turn this thing around so that you fall on it. But if you fall on it, then the sacrificial dagger, which looks like it's going to be worth quite a lot of money, is going to go fully up into it and possibly be lost. And at best, you're going to have to reach up into this poor rabbit. The other option is that it lands on you.
Yeah, I've already ruined the painting. I'm not gonna ruin a sacrificial dagger as well. So I'm gonna take the fall.
You're going to take the fall. Okay.
Save the dagger. Save the dagger.
Okie dokie. Take D4 damage.
Oh. Yeah, I'm good at falling. It's my 1. So yeah, I just literally like again just like hit the floor, kind of bounce right back to my feet. And I was like, can I have the sacrificial dagger like in my hand as I've kind of fallen? I've pulled it out. Yeah.
So you reach in, grab it, and pull it out, and you sort of land like half on the thing rather than like landing full on the floor. But it kind of, you like crack a knee or something.
Yeah.
And you pull the dagger out, and blood just kind of spurts everywhere, and lands on the altar. And then the altar starts glowing. And the room starts closing up around you as stuff starts going backwards again. And you are back in the way past. And the queen is looking at you kind of shocked with several of her priests. And you're standing there with a bloody dagger. And somehow still this dead pig, I think, as well. This dead pig monster. What do you do?
Flo,
Go ahead, Flo.
Flo pulls up her red hood and she starts bowing towards Rat's tail. Like, oh, God of forbidden knowledge, I appease thee. Thank you for bringing us here from another dimension.
Roll me a get lucky.
She's awfully lucky. 6 + 2 is 8.
By an extraordinary stroke of luck, Rat's tail actually does look kind of like the god of forbidden knowledge.
He's got the robe.
Yeah.
That stinking robe.
Yeah. Well, Rat's tail's never looked that deep into his family tree, so maybe he is descended from the gods after all.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's kind of standing in front of this fresco, which is now all fresh. They don't immediately charge, but you're going to have to keep this going if you want to get away with this. Basically, what does Tyburn do?
Is it possible for me to see if I could dig through my knowledge to come up with something about the rites that were carried on by these priests? Something that I could use to leverage what we're starting here?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
Know something.
All right. Try and stay with my strengths. Ooh, and I succeeded in doing so. That's an 11.
Okay, you may ask me anything reasonable.
Okay. Yeah, is there some phrase that I can remember that would really key them to, I understand this religion. I am part of what's going on here. This is that moment where your God has come to you.
Yeah, you remember, not in these frescoes, but in the stories that your mum and dad used to tell you, that the god of forbidden knowledge had an older companion who would whisper secrets to him from the past age, from the age of the giants. And you can play that part.
Ooh. So I'm going to shamble over to Rat's tail and whisper in his ear, play up this part now as the god. I'm your counselor. Tell them that you've appeared from the future.
Yeah. I think with great relish and a gust, a panache, an artistic panache that you didn't think like Ratstail had within him. He kind of, breaks into his best like Sir Laurence Olivier like performance, holding up the sacrificial dagger and like, bow down before the all-powerful god of forgotten knowledge.
Give me a charisma roll.
Oh my god, I don't even know what my charisma is.
Sadly, you're by far and away the best at this.
My charisma's 10, so it's a flat roll.
Yeah, I think that both Flo and I are in the negatives.
Yes.
Yeah, I rolled a 2. Critical fail.
Okay. You think you're doing a great job, and actually you are. You are doing you're doing a fabulous job, and they're convinced. And then you remember how she got the orb.
Oh yeah, she kind of removed the god's head from his shoulders.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah, I realized just that moment that I've kind of gone a bit too far into this to back out now.
Yeah. And yeah, she chants something, and it sounds kind of like some sort of exorcism chant, and thrusts her hand forward. Oh, that was very dramatic in the camera there. And Paul, Ratstail is suddenly unable to move, and you're kind of like thrown out into a T pose.
Yeah, I mean, what the hell's going on? If I could, can I can't move like at all.
No. And she says, "The coming of the orb, the coming of the god. This is it. This is how I make my retreat." And she starts coming towards you with an identical sacrificial dagger. Tyler, what are you doing?
I probably picked up on, oh dear, what's happening, and I'm going to, in this, I will gutturally whisper, those who would dare touch the god will find only curses, never salvation.
Make me a charisma roll.
Alrighty. Oh, come on, dice. Love me a little. Well, that's an 8, goes to a 7.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, that's not too bad.
Still a mixed result. The priests at the back start talking to her in a language that you don't understand. But you kind of get the impression that they're cautioning her. Basically, they've kind of bought it. They're looking a little bit nervous at the back, and she's going to go with it. And they're heading backwards, but they're heading backwards, and you can see that they're recognize that voice. Nice. They're going to just lock you in here unless you do something about it. What do you do?
Is the queen still walking forward, or?
No, she's kind of backing off as well, and they're counseling her to trap you here, basically.
Oh, perfect. So as she's backing up, Flo pulls out the last thing in her bag of magical tricks, her last adventuring gear, which fortunately she packed this away. It was an animal snare.
I do remember the bear trap. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that from the first game.
So I guess somehow you thought she left it there with the giant, but I guess she must have picked it up and carried it with her. So that's the and she had tried to secretly put it behind the queen as she kind of walked behind there.
Yeah, because the queen is kind of like backing off, doing the backwards walk away from the god. Do you have a particular move you can roll for that, or are you just gonna try and get lucky?
I don't have a particular move for that. No, it's no. I guess is that a backstab? I don't really know.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So
Yeah,
it's a surprised target. Okay, here we go. It's 7. So the trap works, and then I create an advantage, giving somebody a +1 forward. The advantage would be that I guess she would have tripped or something, or if somebody did something to her, they would have a forward.
Okay, cool. Roll d8 damage.
3.
3. Okay, cool. This she steps backwards, and what is the trap? What does it look like? Is it like a bear trap kind of a thing?
It was just that, like, yeah, that maw thing. I think the teeth might have been kind of ripped off from the giants. It's kind of half broken, but you know, it still kind of works.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And it completely slams into her leg, just, and she screams out in pain. And the priests start running and shouting that he spoke truly and that curses were coming. And one of them tries to pull her away, and the blades, happy to be excarded at this point, by the way. The blades going deeper, and the priest pulling her away, and her leg just kind of most of her leg is left behind, basically.
Ah. Wow.
And she's screaming, and there is blood spurting everywhere. And the picture of the queen that you had, it's kind of dropped on the floor, and you can see her fading Marty McFly style out of the picture until it's just kind of an empty room.
So I take it this is like her getting her kind of leg kind of ripped off has kind of ruined her, like dispelled her control over my body.
Yes, it has. Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Then if that happens, I'm gonna get my feeling back, pull out my sword. No, the sacrificial knife, the sacrificial dagger I've got. And I'm going to just stride straight over to her and say, "Oh, now the tables have turned. Now I will take your head."
No.
Wow. Cue death metal music. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to just like, grab her head and like just literally like take her head clean off.
+1 forward.
I'm probably trying to yell no. Since she's the one that saved humanity.
Good. Do you try and stop this?
Yeah, I'm going to be, because at least I'm thinking that if we get rid of the first queen who saved humanity and brought us up, that's probably going to have consequences on us. So I'm going to be screaming, no, she has to live.
Are you gonna oppose him or something? Or are you gonna?
Oh, I will rush over. I suppose I'm moving forward, yelling. Well, I'm trying to still focus Soto whisper this at it, to keep up appearances. To the altar, great God, heal her, sort of thing, and hoping that they could drag her to that altar. I've seen what blood on it does before, and maybe we could get a shift.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Make me a Paul, are you still going for it?
Well, yeah, I mean, Rat's Tao is like he doesn't quite grasp the nuance of like all of the sort of historical kind of effect that's happening here. You know, he just sees somebody that tried to hurt him and is reacting like that way. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think if he completely trusts her. So if Tyburn is like no, don't do this. Yeah, he'll back down. He'll back down. He won't take her head off. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you're going to take her over to the altar, yeah?
Oh yeah. So if Tyburn, if that's what you're saying, if you say, if you don't want me to take her head off and just make her bleed a little bit, I can do subtle. Let's do it.
She's bleeding quite a lot anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you do take her over to the kind of kicking and screaming over to the altar, and the blood comes out of her leg onto the altar, which again lights up, starts lighting up all red, and you start hurtling forward into the present, really. And as you're holding on the altar, her body just kind of like does that kind of fast decomposed thing, and you are left indeed holding her skull, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Which weirdly has the gold and the gems already in it.
Mm.
Yeah, and I'll hold it kind of up to light, and like, I take this is the orb that we came looking for.
I'll be damned. I think so. And I'll go up and kind of look at it. I'm guessing I'm still old and decrepit.
You are at the minute, yeah.
And kind of touch it and examine, look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll hand it over to Tyburn.
I think you can make a intelligence roll to see if you can do anything with this.
All right. 6, that goes to a 9. I'll spend a luck. 10.
10. Okay, cool. I'm also going to retcon slightly as well, just because I had a cooler idea, which is instead of just the gems and the gold being there, as you're holding it, these kind of artisans come in and like see to her body and mummify it, and then like add the little bits on all while you're still holding her, and like they're coming around incredibly fast. So in the actual what happened, you would have just been standing there incredibly still for like thousands of years, I think. Okay, yeah. She rolled a 10. What do you do? What do you remember from the stories that you think you can use this orb for?
Okay, I think that probably somewhere in these stories, I remember that when she had gotten this orb, it's coming back to me. She had gotten this orb that, with its forbidden knowledge, was part of how she had managed to defeat these giants. And then, in fact, it was said that she could come up with the perfect plan against them because she had already seen all the ways it failed. And so I think that I'm going, this is it. This is how she was able to. This will let us go back and forth through time. This is what we've been looking for. That seem reasonable?
Yeah. I think that seems reasonable. And you remember as you're holding it, you remember because you've effectively been standing there, all of three of you, just kind of frozen in time for thousands of years. And you remember some of the chants that came to and fro across the millennia. And you find yourself kind of saying them just like a song that you know. And you see like your skin puffing up in that kind of like death becomes her style. So your skin becomes plump and young again. And you are back at the camp, up at the top, and you're watching yourselves going down into the portal, followed by rat's tail going down into the portal. And you are at the camp, and you hear Fez say, "What are you doing out there? What's all that shouting about?"
Flo, do you want to answer that? What are you doing?
Flo hands him the canvas and says, "Yeah, we found this nothing. We just found this really cool painting." And she kind of is kind of like hiding the skull with her robe a little bit. You know, she's like, it's like Damien Hirst, like, gilded skull. And so she hands him the canvas. I don't know what he sees on the canvas, but
and now on the canvas, he sees the queen. The queen is still there, but all three of you are surrounding her, standing perfectly stock still around her.
She's like, "It looks pretty cool, right?" Yeah. They're like all posed, like a photograph or something. Yeah.
And I think with the unfurling of the portrait, that is where we will leave it for the evening. That was the whole fantasy nonsense I have ever.
I love the idea of like maybe there's like a kind of like a little kind of like fade out scene when we're kind of back in the tavern and they've framed this portrait and put it like above the fireplace and we're kind of like we're sort of sitting in front of it like having a drink of mead. Like,
yeah. And you read it back, and no one ever knows what happened to the priest. He probably ended up in some pastime.
Right. Well, maybe he's actually forgotten, or I don't know. It occurred to me as you were talking about the god of forbidden knowledge. Now that we've removed his head, it makes sense that it becomes the god of forgotten knowledge or something like that. That's maybe what happened in the previous timeline. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because you have the skull.
Oh, that is so nifty.
Wow. I certainly wasn't expecting sort of a journey into kind of like time travel and stuff there. That was cool and unexpected.
I rolled on the time travel table. That's what happens. This game comes up with some entertaining nonsense on those random tables.
There's a time travel table.
Yeah, was that one of the themes? It
was one of the themes. When you roll the themes, you can have, I think it's hopeful, mysterious, grim, or gonzo.
There you go.
And we got gonzo, which was time travel. Mysterious, and it certainly was a gonzo session. And mysterious, which was forbidden knowledge, and hopeful, which was inversion or reversal.
Wow.
This had a really very Terry Pratchett-esque sort of feel to it.
It did. I wasn't expecting, going into this, I wasn't expecting it to be gonzo, but it kind of went that way quite quickly in the first session. I was like, I'll just lean into it.
Yeah, it's cool. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much for playing past the past three sessions, guys. Had a great time.
Yeah, thank you for running.
Look forward to playing again with you in the future sometime.
Yeah, thanks so much for hosting. This was a blast.
Had a great time.
Yeah, I always enjoy playing with both you, Paul, and you, Ali. And it was great meeting you, Vincent. You're awesome.
Yeah, really good to play with you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Have you played Gauntlet games before, Vincent?
During Gauntlet Con, I think was my first exposure. So,
cool.
So I'm still fairly new, but yeah.
You wouldn't know it from this, but normally my games are dark as fuck. So
okay. Well.
Yeah, Ollie's a master of horror.
Yeah, this one went off into some weird screwball comedy, but I enjoyed it greatly. Thank you very much, guys. I will see you.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cool. Bye, y'all.
See you again soon. Bye bye.